Hello again, I'm Joan Landis. So another strategy that we can use with anxiety is to actually think through the worst case scenario, okay? Now, we don't do this right at the first. This is why this is not lesson one, because you need to have been able to master some of these at least mental and hopefully real life challenges that you feel much more secure and safe and you're able to de-escalate yourself. And when you've gotten to that point, then here's another useful technique. Is you sit down and you think, okay, what is it I'm worried about or frightened about or concerned about or scared about, anxious about, and just take it to its logical end, okay? So, you know, for instance, with public speaking. Okay, let's do that one. So, I'm worried that I'll make a fool of myself. Okay? And if you make a fool of yourself, then what? People will disrespect me. Okay? And then what? People will sabotage me and I'll lose my job. Okay? Then what? Then I will have to find a new job. Then what? I won't be able to find a new job. I'll be homeless. Okay? Then what? I'll have to scrounge for food and I won't have enough food and I'll starve to death on the street. Okay? I mean, all right, let's go there, right? Okay, then what? Well, it will hurt really bad and it will be very painful. Okay, then what? Then I'll die. Okay, then what? Now this is where people who actually have a belief in a higher power and God and, you know, eternal life, they actually have a leg up, because then where they can go with it is, well, then I'll go to heaven and I'll be with God and the angels and I'll be happy, or whatever, nirvana, you know, whatever type of belief system you have, and that everything's going to be okay in the end, right? And so it's kind of interesting because, number one, what happens with this exercise is we kind of realize, okay, some of our fears are a little bit exaggerated. Like, really, you think if you're going to be homeless, you really are going to, you know, what, you've forgotten everything you've ever known about getting a job and working. You know, that may not happen. Or say you are homeless. Do you really think you're going to starve to death on the side of the road? I really think, you know, that's probably an exaggerated fear. And so as we kind of process this out loud or in writing or whatever, sometimes we can kind of go, oh yeah, that isn't really, you know, going to make sense. Or worst case scenario, right? I have a child that's kidnapped and killed. Wow. You know, that's really tough. Again, you know, the existential belief system can really be helpful to you at that point. Or you say, I'm going to take that trauma and I'm going to have a crusade. I'm going to sublimate that into something really positive. And yes, it'll hurt. Yes, it'll be sad. Yes, it'll be hard. But I will survive. And I'm going to bless the lives of so many people because of that tragedy. Okay. So when we can go there, even, I mean, that would be one of the hardest things, wouldn't it? And find our way out of it and realize that it's not the end of the universe, that there really are ways to survive and there really are ways even to thrive with it. That when we can put our words to that and kind of even think about, okay, what would I do? You know, okay, in this case, what if I lost my job, what would I do? Okay, well, I would start networking with people. I mean, make a plan, right? And so all of that can really help the anxiety to dissipate, because it's not like this overwhelming boogeyman. It's like, okay, something bad can happen, and then this can happen, and then this can happen, and then I would do this, and then I would do this, and then I would do this. So that's called the worst case scenario. If you can kind of go to your worst case scenario, of course, after you've developed all these other coping mechanisms and these other resiliencies, and process that, and maybe talk to a friend, talk it through with a friend, right? And they'll hopefully help you and not, you know, make it even more dramatic and more anxiety producing. But for sure, talk about it on the forums and get some support. Maybe you hit a place where you're like, this is the worst thing ever. I don't see myself surviving in any form in the afterlife. None. I'm obliterated. That's it. Well, okay. if you're actually obliterated, guess what? You're not feeling pain anymore, right? So even that, and I don't want to be flip, but seriously, if there is no afterlife, your pain is gone, most likely. I mean, how can you feel pain if you don't have an entity, right? So even that, worst case scenario, I'm pain-free, I'm not conscious of anything, feels like I'm sleeping the rest of eternity. I don't know. I can think of worse things. So just kind of explore that, find out things that, oh gosh, I got to that little point and that was my trigger and that's why I would always blow up. Oh, but actually I might be able to manage that. So have a little bit of a good experience with that. Share on the forums and we'll see you soon, okay? Thanks. Bye-bye.